Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadari Yashodanandana Bhajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Bhajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Ashtottara Shatashi Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This morning we are reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, entitled Creation of the Fourth Order, Chapter 28, Paranjana becomes a woman in the next life. We're in text 34. Okay. Please repeat after me. Hitva Grihan Sutan Bhogan Vaidarbi Madira Ikshana Anvadavata Panya Isham Jyotsna Eva Rajanikaram. Okay. Hitva Grihan Sutan Bhogan Vaidarbi Madirikshana Anbadavata Pandyesham Jyotshneva Rajanikaram. Hitva Grihan Sutan Bhogan Vaidarbi Madirikshana Anvadavata Pandesham Jyotshneva Rajanikaram Hitvagrihan Satan Bhogan Vaidarbi Madidikshana Anvadavata Pandesham Jyotshneva Rajanikaram Hitva, giving up. Grihan, home. Sutan, children. Bhogan, material happiness. Vidarbi, the daughter of King Vidarbha. Madhira Ikshana, with enchanting eyes. Anvadhavata, followed. Pandisham, King Malayadwaja. Joshna Eva, like the moonshine. Rajanikaram, the moon. Translation, commentary by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Just as the moonshine follows the moon at night, immediately after King Malayadwaja departed for Kulachala, his devoted wife, whose eyes were very enchanting, followed him, giving up all homely happiness, despite family and children. Purport. Just as in the Vanaprastha stage the wife follows the husband, similarly, when the spiritual master retires for Nirjan Bhajan, some of his advanced devotees follow him and engage in his personal service. In other words, those who are very fond of family life should come forward in the service of the spiritual master and abandon so-called happiness afforded by society, friendship, and love. A verse by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in his Guru Vashtaka is significant in this regard. Yasya prasadad bhagavat prasada. Sound familiar? Yeah. A disciple should always remember that by serving the spiritual master, he can easily advance in Krishna consciousness. All the scriptures recommend that it is by pleasing the spiritual master and serving him directly that one can attain the highest perfectional stage of devotional service. The word Madhirikshana is also significant in this verse. Srila Jiva Goswami has explained in his Sandarbha that the word Madhira means intoxicating. If one's eyes become intoxicated upon seeing the deity, he may be called Madhirikshana. Queen Vidarbhi's eyes were very enchanting. just as one's eyes are maridikshana when engaged in seeing the temple deity. And thus one is an advanced devotee. He cannot fix his eyes on the deity in the temple. Sorry, one second. Om Gyanadevadandasya Garanjana Shalakaya Chakshu Lanmaditamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karitvachalam Pangam Langayate Girim Yakripatamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dinitaranam Vancha Kapudribishcha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, read the translation again. Just as the moonshine follows the moon at night, immediately after King Malayadwaja departed for Kulachala, his devoted wife, whose eyes were very enchanting, followed him, giving up all homely happiness despite family and children. So, in the previous verse, the great saintly king Malayadwaja divided his entire kingdom among his sons. So then in order to worship Lord Krishna with full attention, he went to a solitary place known as Kulachala. And in this verse, saying that his wife, who used to be Pranjana, right? Just as the moonshine follows the moon at night, immediately after King Malayadwaja departed from Kulachala, his devoted wife, whose eyes were very enchanted, followed him, giving up all homely happiness despite family and children. So this is a part of cultured life, is that one is trained as a brahmachari in the Gurukul ashram, brahmachari ashram, and then some will enter married life. It's not required; one doesn't have to do that, but due to particular, you could say, tendencies, one may do that. And then, or if one says brahmachari, that's fine. So then one will take vanaprastha. Means that they're married for some time, they have children, and then their children are grown up and they're married, and then one should retire from working for money and engage more and more directly in the activities of Krishna consciousness. Hearing and chanting about Krishna, serving the mission by preaching the message of Krishna, so many other different activities that one can do while as a vanaprastha. Now, of course, the system also is that the men, means those who are in that vanaprastha stage, means they're with their wife at that stage. Sometimes, not all the time, but a lot of the time men will take sannyas, means they'll leave their wife, sever the connection completely, like Srila Prabhupada did, and many other devotees have done. But sometimes a person could also just remain as a vanaprastha. That's also acceptable. But they should be advanced vanaprasthas. They should be advanced devotees. The wife and husband, just like here, Malayadwaja and his wife, they, as we see in the next few verses, they actually stayed together. She stayed with her husband until he left his body, which again is acceptable, but sannyas is also there. That's also recommended. So yeah, this is the process. Now from the brahmachari ashram, one may stay a brahmachari. We have 2 devotees here. You may stay a brahmachari throughout your life. That's acceptable. It's not that the brahmachari ashram is just for children or young men, or means children. When I'm not referring to like young children, 5 years old, 10 years old. It's not just for children or young men, whatever, 15, 20, 25, 30. One could stay a brahmachari throughout their life. That's acceptable. They don't have to become a grihastha. Or from that brahmachari ashram, they could take sannyas, just like we have many devotees within ISKCON, and also within the past, like Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he accepted sannyas from the brahmachari ashram. So that's there as well. So this is a part of cultured life. This is a part of being a human being. And according to the Srimad Bhagavatam. So now here it says that the spiritual master, just as the wife follows the husband, as when he takes Vanapras. So similarly, when the spiritual master retires, as it was being mentioned in the last purport, some of his advanced devotees follow him, engage in his personal service. So, yeah, this is a principle that one should engage in the service of the spiritual master, and it says that when the spiritual master's physical form, the vapu, is manifest, then one should serve that form, practical things, whatever, cleaning clothes, cooking, so many different things to serve the form. And then, but of course one should also serve the Vani at the same time. Like, your Guru Maharaj tells you to chant 16 rounds, you're like, no, I'm just going to serve him. Part of serving him is following his instructions also. But then when the vapu is not manifest anymore, then yeah, all one has is the instructions, which of the two, the instructions are more important. So, but nonetheless, one should try, if possible, for some amount of time, whether it's a few days, a few months, a few years, or whenever one can, they should try to get the personal, means serve the vapu form, be in the presence of the spiritual master and do that. Just like Tamal Krishna Goswami, I was hearing some talk, I thought it was a good point he made, but he said, yeah, there's the Vani and the Vapu. And of course, we know the Vani is more important. Instructions are more important. The Vapu's, right, it doesn't last forever. So, but he said, Vapu is also important. And he said, I followed Srila Prabhupada's Vani, but I also followed I also tried, when his Vapu, when he was here in the world, he said, I made my arrangements to be with him. And he said, I was with him a lot, If you see all the pictures, he was with him quite a lot. Of course, he had that ability due to his whatever position and this and that, but he was with him. So, of course, I'm not advising everybody here to abandon the temple and go join their spiritual master somewhere, but under the authorization of one's shiksha gurus and one's spiritual master and other devotees, there could be some time spent with the spiritual master serving. It's purifying, humbling. And whether we're serving the Vani or the Vapu, this is how we make spiritual advancement, by serving the spiritual master. And this is how we actually will be able to get free of the bonds of family life, of so-called happiness of society, friendship, and love. In other words, the material world offers a lot of distractions and a lot of, there's a lot of distracting, amusing, fascinating, attractive things in this world. And people could really dedicate their whole life to these different things. Just like soccer. It's like some people dedicate their whole life to soccer. It's like they, watch soccer all the time. They play soccer video games. They go out and they play soccer, and they get the jerseys and get all the equipment, and they dedicate their whole life to soccer. I mean, that's just it's a sport, or football. People really dedicate their whole life to football.
Name their kids after a player.
Oh, really? They name their kids after a player. Wow, I didn't know that. Okay, makes sense. Name their kids after the great acharyas, right? Devotees name their children after Prahlad and Dhruva, and these people name their kids after football players, which I could say gratefully that I don't know the name of one football player. Besides, maybe that guy who, anyways, there's one of them from SanDiego actually committed suicide. Anyways, I'm forgetting his name too. What is it? Junior Seau? Seau. Okay. Anyways, unfortunate. So yeah, it's a serious thing. Yeah, like you're saying, they name their children after these different players. I mean, now that's just like two sports, soccer and football. Now there's video games, there's movies, there's, I mean, all types of things available nowadays. And any one of these things, right, like Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, any one of the, what does he say? Yeah, any one of the senses that the mind fixed on can bewilder that person, right? Just like a boat. The wind could carry the boat, a boat, right? So the senses could carry us. So, so previously you could say life was more simple. Natural, simple. You had your family, and you had your friendship, and you had your love, and your society. And in many ways, it was like really simple, comparatively speaking, now to what's available. So that was like kind of a hurdle for people to get over. Oh, my family and my friendship and my love and kind of my simple life and work and everything. But now there's like a lot more to actually, a lot more that the senses could become bewildered by. So how are we supposed to navigate? Because we're supposed to arrange our lives in such a way that we don't become enamored by these things, but we become more and more enchanted by Krishna consciousness, by the opportunity to engage in the devotional service of the spiritual master, to Krishna, to the Vaishnavas. That's what we should become more and more enchanted, enthralled by, right? Which, it's always important to remember, devotional service is a privilege, right? Prabhupada, he translated the chanting of Hare Krishna as, please engage me in your devotional service, which is a privilege. Please give me the privilege of devotional service. So privilege means it's something that is given to us as like a gift, and it also could be taken away. And of course, so therefore we should be grateful for what we have, means the facilities we have to engage in Krishna consciousness. For example, our body is a facility we have that could be used in Krishna service. Cars, whatever. We have things that could be used in Krishna service. Like my spiritual master one time said, he said that one day he woke up and his right hand wasn't working. I mean, it's an important hand to work. and then he said that because he would, you chant, you use your hand to chant, your right hand, right, fingers, but he couldn't move it. So then he started to meditate and realize, and he felt grateful. Means when his hand started to work again, he felt very grateful. Yeah, this hand's very important. So he didn't take it for granted. That's how he was explaining it. So yeah, it's a privilege. It's not like it should be done with great affection, with great attention, and it's not like it shouldn't be like a hassle or something. Oh, I got to engage in devotional service. Oh, this is such terrible, I wish I could be like engaging my senses in some service or something. But just like for a mother, it's not a hassle for the mother to take care of the child. She loves it. I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen these. I'm sure you've seen mothers, but I mean, when a mother has a new baby, I mean, one of my friends, anyways, the woman, she just had a baby. You know, they're together, married. But anyways, they sent me a picture of he sent me a picture of his wife with holding the baby. You know, they just had the baby. And she was just in, bliss, as a mother. So it's not a hassle at all, even the crying, waking up. I mean, it's actually quite difficult to be a mother and, babies, also father, because they take turns, right, sometimes. Okay, it's your turn to go take care of the young baby who's crying in the middle of the night at 1 o'clock in the morning, you're not getting much sleep. But it's a joy for them. They actually like it, love it. Huh? Sharita Prabhu says it's called Maya. So, similarly, we should also feel that yes, this is, the opportunities I have to engage in devotional service. This is great. This is wonderful. This is, And then by gradually us, more and more developing this, then by becoming more advanced in serving Krishna and the spiritual master, then more and more these other attractions, they go away. Right? We're not attracted anymore. So, and Prabhupada quotes this verse, right? We sing every day, which we should try to be conscious and aware of what we're, like Dravida Prabhu has mentioned many times, what we're singing, what we're repeating. And at least, someone may say, okay, well, sometimes I'm not conscious of what I'm singing while I'm singing it. Maybe I'm thinking about something else, or, okay, that's not the best, right? We should be thinking about what we're singing. But, whatever, the mind sometimes goes here and there. Of course, we try to control it, but now, at least we should be able to, if somebody asks us, okay, what does this verse mean? Yasya prasada, Bhagavat prasada, yasya prasada, nakati katopi. We should know the translation. Because one thing for our mind to be kind of absent while we're singing it, but it's on another level just to not know what it means at all. That's like worse, So, yasya prasada, Bhagavat prasada. So by serving the spiritual master, one makes spiritual advancement, and without serving the spiritual master, one can make no advancement. And therefore, I offer my humble obeisances, to my spiritual master, at least 3 times a day. So this is easily, Prabhupada says, one can easily advance in Krishna consciousness. But pleasing the spiritual master and serving him directly, one could attain the highest stage of perfectional stage of devotional service. So we want an easy path, or at least that's a general tendency. You have a choice. Okay, you want a difficult path, or you want an easy path. A lot of times people say, give me the easy path, right? So Krishna consciousness, the path that Srila Prabhupada chalked out, is an easy path. What should we do? Okay, so it's an easy path, but sometimes it doesn't seem easy, right? Sometimes when we say, oh, it seems quite difficult. So is it easy or is it difficult? And you could say it depends on largely the follower, the attitude of the follower, because depending on the particular attitude of the follower, it may be easy, it may be difficult. But in some places, some places Prabhupada says it's easy, some places Prabhupada says it's difficult. So one thing to keep in mind, that we could keep in mind, is that a lot of the times we make it difficult because we may not follow certain things that may seem simple, but in many ways they are simple, but but by not following those simple things, actually Krishna consciousness becomes a lot more difficult. Just like, for example, book distribution. It's a challenging service, actually. Of course, if one, you could say, buckles down and they surrender to it and they pray to Krishna and they follow advice of those who've been doing it for many years and so on, it becomes easier and easier and easier, and it becomes nectarian. Wonderful, wonderful experience, most wonderful experience. But because it's a challenging service in the sense that one has to be Krishna conscious, one should be Krishna conscious on book distribution. I mean, that's one of the reasons why Srila Prabhupada engaged us, not just for the benefit of people, but for the benefit of ourselves. Means to help us advance in Krishna consciousness. In the sense that, for example, Vijay Prabhu, as far as I know, he makes it a point, and it's his policy, and he advises devotees like this, as far as I've heard, that that devotees should read before they go out, if possible. That's the best. I'm talking about the best. And from his experience, that charges him up. That gives him a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm. And then when he goes, hits the ground. There's that saying, right? Hit the ground running. He's ready to go, based on that reading. Because Prabhupada's book is very powerful. They'll do all types of things to people, like make people join an ashram in Southern California and wear robes and paint on their forehead, tilak, practice celibacy, all types of stuff, right? Like people do all types of wild stuff. Prabhupada's books. So that's his particular policy or principle. That's what he does. So it seems like a simple thing, but it's actually, it really helps. I remember one time Damodar Kumar Prabhu and myself, we were out distributing books together, and we were in Chula Vista, or anyway, somewhere down there. And we decided, okay, we're going to read before we go out. So we actually read for quite some time. And I don't know what he was reading, and I forgot, but I know what I was reading. I remember what I was reading, but I was reading this book, Premi Bhakti Chandrika, by Narottam Das Thakur. Of course, Prabhupada's books are there too. But anyways, I was reading this book on this particular day. So I was reading and reading and reading. That book is just so wonderful, actually. It's just amazing, amazingly. This book, by the way, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he would advise his disciples to read this, Premi Bhakti Chandrika and Nectar of Instruction, Upadeshamrita. He found these two important. So I was reading. And then, as time goes on, I was getting more and more enthused, and Damodar Kumar Prabhu from his reading was also getting enthused, and we went out, and we it was pretty good. We were distributing books, good number of books, and people were receptive. And I take that, meditating on that, after that happened, I said, oh yeah, it's because I was trying to get absorbed in reading, so that helped a lot, personally. And so another thing is like, okay, chanting our rounds. Now, Srila Prabhupada, he was asked on some occasions, okay, Srila Prabhupada, what do we do to help us, distribute more books? Because if you're distributing books, of course, they have a saying, right? Okay, once you put your feet on the pavement, you're it's a success, which is good. It's inspiring, it's encouraging. It, get out there, get out the door. It's, that's Vaisheshika Prabhu's principle. Just put your foot on the pavement, feet on the pavement. So, so naturally, when devotees go out, they want to, distribute books. They want something to happen. They want books to go out. That's the whole idea. So they asked Prabhupada that on a few occasions, and as far as I've heard and as far as I know, Prabhupada, he didn't give so much explanation on how to distribute a lot of books, but he did give some explanation. And one of the things he said is that you should try to distribute the books on their own merit. So glorify the books. I mean, know what's in the books and try to be enthused to sell a particular book, and that also helps actually. Like again, sorry, Vijay Prabhu, he's really attached to the Bhagavad Gita, for example. He really loves reading the Bhagavad Gita, and reading and distributing the Bhagavad Gita, and therefore he distributes a lot of Gitas. That's one of his main books he distributes. So this is also a kind of key, you could say. I mean, who am I to say it, but whatever. But it's a key in the sense that if we find a book that we're really attached to, this book, that book, this book, that book, we could say, we become enthused to distribute it. Like the Bhagavatam or the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the Bhagavad Gita, or any other particular book, right? We could read a book and become enthused. So that was one thing Prabhupada said on the strength of the book, distribute. Another thing he said was that to devotees asked how to increase book distribution. Prabhupada said, you should sit down and you should chant all of your rounds, 16 rounds, and in this way you'll increase before you go out. Sit down, chant 16 rounds, all in one time, and then you'll increase your books. Now, I said this to one devotee one time, and he said, impossible. He said, how am I supposed to do that? I guess maybe because some devotees, they chant a little slower. That's one thing, so. I think he chanted slow, but aside from chanting slow, he had, DD backup and, cooking breakfast, this and that, so many things. So you could say, so he was saying, that's just impossible. Now, Now, if someone would say that, say, well, it's not impossible. Now, you could wake up earlier, for example, chant your rounds. Okay, you could say, well, that's too difficult. I got service to do in the evening. Okay, fine, you can't do that. So you can't chant your 16 rounds all in the morning because you have service. You can't chant your 16 rounds before Mangalarti because service in the evening. Okay, try something else. Then chant as many rounds as you can in the morning, and then the rest of them before you go out. That's possible. So in other words, when we hear an instruction, we shouldn't just say, I can't do that. That's we should try to understand the principle behind it and try to do what we could do to try to get closer to fulfilling that. Not just say, I can't do it, so I'll just, I'll chant 4 rounds in the morning because that's all I could do, and I'll just rush out on the books, and then I'll chant my, other 12 rounds at, 11 o'clock at night or something, because that's what I could do, And this isn't I don't have like a metaphysical gun here, shooting or something. So, but we should try to understand the principle and work, closer to that. So that would be helpful. So yeah, again, 16 rounds all in a row. Okay, if we can't do that, do our best to try to work towards that, and that will help us feel enthused in the service. Now the last thing is that Mari Rekshana, that says that her eyes were very enchanting. Mother Dwaja's wife, Vidarbi, used to be Puranjan. Her eyes were very enchanting. And Prabhupada, there's a description here, that if one's eyes become intoxicated by seeing the deity, he may be called Maririkshana. So this is an idea, we should become intoxicated by seeing the deity. And when Rupa Goswami, he says, if you have any desire for friendship, society, love, then don't go see Krishna on the bank of the Keshi Ghat, right? Very beautiful with his peacock feather and his, playing the flute, his lips glistening in the moonlight, and, threefold bending form, wearing the garland. You shouldn't go see him if you have any desire to enjoy. materialistic friendship, society, and love. So he's saying you should go see Krishna. You should go become intoxicated by seeing Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada which lust means material sex desire. It's not, it's something that exists in the world largely, and that's almost has complete control you could say complete control in the world, gross and subtle lust, sex desire. So there's something that needs to be overcome. It's not the only thing that needs to be overcome. There's anger, there's greed, there's a whole list of other things. But lust is also there. And a lot of the times it starts with lust, anger, greed. So it's something that needs to be overcome. So how do we overcome that lust? There's many different ways. We could stand on our head and drink oat water in the morning. Maybe. Stand on our head for 15 minutes and then drink oat water for breakfast and whatever, run around the block 20 times and whatever, chant 32 rounds. There's so many different things people may do. But one thing Srila Prabhupada recommended, he said you should become attached to serving the deities. And that means dressing the deities, that means cooking for the deities, it means meditating on the deities, it means chanting before the deities, it means becoming attached to the deities. And Srila Prabhupada says you become attached to the deities, which I asked Bajrayana Swami this some time ago about some things, and he was saying how one thing that helped him in his life is that he always felt, okay, Radha Giridhari, these are my Ishtadevis, my deities. I'm worshiping these deities, my worshipable deities. So, anyways, Prabhupada said that become intoxicated by seeing the deities, by worshiping the deities. This will kill who? Mr. Lust. It will kill Mr. Lust. That's what Prabhupada said. So we should try to become enchanted. Yeah, our old enemy, Mr. Lust. He's not a friend. All right, does anybody have any comments or questions? Damodar Kumar left. Anyways, maybe he's heard it while he went into the kitchen. I don't know, maybe he's in the kitchen or something, but I'm sure, I think he's heard the 16 rounds thing, but before I got it out, he left, so I wanted him to hear about the 16 rounds too. But all right. Come on. Why are you giving me that frown, Alex? Come on. I'm just okay. I can't see because I've got a mask on. Okay. All right. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai.